me start asking this question. What do you think is a bigger problem? Giving the right answer to a wrong question or giving a wrong answer to a right question? There's always some problem with problem statement itself. And the problem is we, normal human beings, are impatient. Most of the time, the problem we face in our life, it's difficult for us to solve because we are impatient. We always try to jump into the solution. Now, let me start with a confession as well. This is me when I was a young child. And I can tell you, this is still the attitude after many years of working in corporate sector. Even if we are asking for patience, we are so very impatient. And that separates us with people who are known to be the greatest problem solvers. Albert Einstein once said that it's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with the problem longer. Coming from the person cutting across generation as the most smart person available around us, it does not reflect only his humility. The trick lies in the last part of his statement, that I stay longer with the problem. He also once said that if you give me 1 hour to solve a real problem, I'll take 55 minutes to understand it and perhaps 5 minutes to solve it. Contrast that the way we, normal human beings, think. After I read this, I started thinking more and more. And then I tried to relate it with my real life stories and my experience in the corporate world. Often we get into meetings, and after half an hour, 40 minutes of passionate debate, I start asking people that what problem we are going to solve. And interestingly, we get very different answer from different speakers. And this also underscores that we jump into the solution mode way before we understand the problem. So this is a picture of my desktop in office. And that little yellow sticky you see there, it is there in front of me every day, every moment. It reminds me of one thing. It reads, what problem are we going to solve today? Because more often we get into a solution mode without understanding the problem. Now I can tell you a couple of stories here. At one point in time, I used to weigh more than 110 kgs. And then I injured my right knee while playing soccer, and I could not climb stairs. And doctor said, it has nothing to do with your knees, you'll have to reduce the weight. And I got so passionate and so focused to reduce my weight that I kept working hard and hard and harder than previous time, and realized that it's impossible to reduce the weight like that, what I was trying. So what I was trying was not working. And a lot of us try to get into such situation that we work so hard, try to solve a problem, and if you see that in your real life that problem is not getting solved, then perhaps you'll have to work on a different problem. So when I got professional help, somebody told me, you are working on a wrong problem. The problem is not weight reduction, it is your lifestyle. You change your food habit, you change your lifestyle, weight will come down. And that's what happened. The other story is equally interesting. He has 3 kids. And he used to get so frustrated and discuss with us every morning. He wakes up, these 3 kids, and fighting with each other before going to school. Jumping in and out of the bed, somebody screaming, you get out of the bathroom, somebody screaming, no, that's my shirt, give it to me. No, you get off this bed. And it's only 6:45 in the morning, kids are already fighting. And he and his wife tried everything. Tried to give the right reason, taught them that how siblings should behave, why they should not fight with each other, the family values, how respectful they will have to be to each other, and nothing worked. And then they tried something different as well, screaming, shouting. And they knew that's also not going to work. It actually made the situation worse. In organization, when we work, we face the similar problem. I face a problem that I cannot motivate myself enough to do something. I have a problem with employees. They are not being accountable, and it makes me really mad. And we try to give enough reason, teach them how to be accountable, take them through some kind of training. Nothing works. So what happens when you try so hard to solve a problem? I can tell you that something that will never work. Come up with yet another solution to solve the problem. And something which might always work. Try to look for a different problem. So coming back to the story of my friend's kids, they realized that when they tried everything, they used to do in the morning meditation with the kids. They kind of give them enough reason. They try to punish them, reward them, beg them. Nothing worked. And someone told them that that is not the problem. Sibling rivalry is not an issue over here. The issue is the kids are waking up getting tired and with low sugar level in their blood. So change that, fix the lifestyle thing, send the kids to bed early, and offer them a glass of orange juice every morning when they get up. 90% of the problem was resolved. In organization also, when we work, if somebody is not taking the accountability, how much I want them to, how much I try to motivate them. If that is not working, let's not keep on trying to come up with another solution to motivate them. Let's try to look at the problem somewhere else. Maybe it's the problem with person's capability. Maybe it's a problem with person's training requirement. Maybe it's the problem with the person's skills. And if those are the problems, now we are talking about whole set of different kind of solution, then trying to push him to remain accountable. Maybe there's a problem with our measurement system that person doesn't understand. So what I'm trying to say here, that when we try to solve a problem that, okay, right question, wrong answer, so on and so forth, we tend at some point in time to look at the wrong questions and try to give right answer to that. It brings me to a theory which practiced long time back by Aristotle, the Greek philosopher. He used to say that if you want to solve a problem, you have to deconstruct it before you can reconstruct that again. What happens when you do that, kind of you peeling the layers of onion, you understand what's the core issue here. And the core issue in most of the cases are not visible to us immediately. Let's take example of SpaceX, a company Elon Musk started to send rocket to the space. He wanted to go to Mars for mission. Before Musk, everybody said that no, sending rockets to the space is a task of government agencies. NASA will do that because it is so expensive. Then he first time used the first principle, and then try to deconstruct the problem statement. Say why somebody cannot send a rocket to Mars. What is in there? It's some good grade of aluminum, some carbon fiber, X, Y, and Z. Actually, the material cost of a rocket is actually 2% of the cost of sending the rocket to the Mars. And then once he deconstructed it, he realized where the problem lies. The problem is not about sending rocket is expensive. It is something like this. Assuming you are traveling from here to Mumbai on a flight, how cheap is the flight ticket? It's not that expensive. Think about a scenario where the plane is taking you from here to Mumbai. You have to abandon the plane and you have to take another plane to come back, and then plane has to be again abandoned. You cannot reuse a plane. What will be the cost of your ticket? So Musk realized that why space missions are expensive, because you are not reusing the rocket. All the billions of dollars you're spending is gone after one use. So when he created his company SpaceX, he asked the scientists the first thing, come up with a technology which can bring the rocket back. I can reuse it. And he has proven it that it is possible in a very affordable manner. So he started this big company. A lot of the time we get into a discussion of how things are happening and not why it is happening. This is another example, again from Elon Musk. Before he came up with this Tesla, a lot of people understood the concept of electric car, but nobody was going to commercialize it because everybody thought that's going to be very, very expensive. Well, why it is going to be very expensive? Because batteries are very expensive. Again, first principle of problem solving was used, looking at why batteries are expensive, because each individual items in the battery are most cheapest items available in shops. So he kind of questioned the fundamental reason of people's belief that the way we think 7 billion people on earth cannot be wrong, versus somebody is questioning that, saying we don't know anything. We know nothing. Let's deconstruct the problem and reconstruct it. But to do that, you'll have to spend enough time with the problem. My last example here of a Russian nightclub owner. In New York, Brooklyn, there is a place where most of the wealthy Russians live. Somebody came up with this great idea of opening a nightclub over there. There was a business case? Absolutely yes. There was a need of such nightclub. He hired the best possible chef available. The chef was the best one working for the wealthiest Russian family over there to run the nightclub kitchen. Few days down the line, nobody liked the food and everybody left the nightclub and nightclub went bankrupt. He got this chef hired by offering him a huge amount of stake or the equity in that nightclub. So what went wrong? Did he ask the right questions or he asked the wrong questions? He should have asked the chef that how good is he to manage such a setup? How good is he in terms of cooking for a large number of people? Instead of that, he asked how good cook is that chef? And the answer was perfectly good. So it was an example of a right answer to a wrong question. Because in the household where chef used to cook, he used to cook for 6 to 10 people. But when you are in a nightclub, you are responsible for some 200 to 300 meals. And it requires a very different kind of skill apart from cooking to manage the setup as a whole, to run a kitchen in a commercial manner. The result of getting right answer to a wrong question is the nightclub owner become bankrupt and he started driving a cab in New York. Think about a scenario if Henry Ford ever asked someone who was in transportation business that what they need before he invented automobile. I'm sure the answer would have been that we need faster horses. Nobody would have thought they need a very different kind of thing. It's good that he didn't ask that wrong question. To get the right answer, perhaps, he invented Ford Model T, which is the first automobile here. So I would like to conclude by saying that at times it is more dangerous to get the right answer against a wrong question. Because if you do that, it's difficult to undo the things, and it takes more time to do the damage control. It's easier if you get a wrong answer to a right question. Normally, we tend to understand that faster and then take corrective action. So the problem with the problem statement is we are impatient, and I'll request all of us, next time we face a problem, let's take enough time to understand the problem before jumping into solutioning it. As we say, as human beings, often we don't listen to understand, we listen to respond. Now on, let's try to listen to understand first before we respond. Thank you very much.